My name is Brittany. He was supposed to be my stepdad. I meant Aaron, but that moment changed everything. His leg brushed mine. My breath caught. I didn't move. I swallowed. My voice came out low. You don't have to pretend with me. His eyes met mine. And that was it. The kiss was slow. Careful. Like we were testing whether the world would crack open if our mouths touched. When it didn't, it deepened. My hand slid into his hair. His moved to my waist. We didn't speak. We didn't need to. Clothes came off like they were never meant to be there. My back hit the couch, then his chest, warm and solid, pressed into mine. We made love right there, raw, wordless, endless. When it was over, we didn't talk. We just laid there, tangled in a way that felt like we'd always belonged. I ate the forbidden fruit. Hello everyone. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, do well to subscribe and hit on notifications. To all my returning subscribers, thank you for always watching my videos. I came home expecting silence. That was the routine. Mom gone on one of her endless trips, the house quiet, cold, and mine for a few days. I'd kick off my heels, drop my purse on the counter, microwave something half frozen, and collapse in front of the TV. I was ready for that kind of night. But the music changed everything. I heard it the second I walked in. Soft, low, like something old, Fleetwood Mac or maybe Springsteen. Music my mom liked. At first I thought maybe she'd canceled her trip. I called out, "Mom?" But there was no answer. Then came the water, the distinct rush of a shower upstairs. A chill passed over me. I grabbed my phone, suddenly unsure. Maybe someone broke in. Maybe Mom had let someone stay here without telling me. Or maybe no, it couldn't be him. That wouldn't make sense. He was gone. Long gone. But my gut already knew. I climbed the stairs slowly. My heart pounded like I was walking into a dream. Or a nightmare. The hallway light was off, but a soft glow spilled out from the bathroom, through the cracked door. Then he stepped out. Aaron. A towel sat low on his hips, steam rising around him, his chest wet, hair dripping. He froze when he saw me. I froze too. "Brittany?" he asked, as if I were the ghost. My voice caught. I nodded. "Yeah, it's me." He looked older, just a little. Still lean, still tall, still Aaron. His tan hadn't faded. His eyes, gray-blue like the Texas sky before a storm, locked on mine and didn't blink. I wanted to say something. Ask what he was doing here, why he hadn't called, why he left in the first place. But the words didn't come. Instead I stared too long, too obviously. And he stared back. He cleared his throat and reached for a shirt hanging on the doorknob. "Didn't know you were gonna be home so early. Didn't know you were gonna be here," I said. He gave a crooked smile. "Yeah, I guess I should have called." I stepped back, letting him pass. He smelled like warm water and old memories. We walked downstairs together, a strange silence floating between us. In the kitchen, he poured himself a glass of water and leaned against the counter like he belonged there. Like he hadn't disappeared 2 years ago without much of a goodbye. Like he hadn't left my mother sobbing on the porch, clutching her coffee like it was the only thing keeping her upright. "So?" I finally asked, crossing my arms. "Why are you here?" "Your mom said I could stay for a few days. We've been talking, kind of easing back into things." I blinked. "Really?" "Yeah. Not everything's fixed, but," he shrugged. "This is where home still feels like home." I hated how that word made my chest ache. He looked at me for a long moment. "You've changed." I smirked. "It's been 2 years. People do that." "No," he said softly. "I mean, you've really grown up." It hit me in a strange place. That look in his eyes wasn't fatherly. Not even close. And I wasn't his little stepdaughter anymore. I was 23 now. I had a job. I lived in my own skin. And in that moment I could feel the shift happening between us. Like the ground had quietly tilted. "I'll stay out of your way," he said, drinking his water. "Didn't mean to surprise you." "You didn't," I lied. Later that night, I lay in bed staring at the ceiling. I could hear the floor creak down the hall, his footsteps. The occasional clink of a glass in the kitchen. My body was buzzing, restless, like it knew something before I could even admit it. I remembered the way he used to look at me when he thought I wasn't watching. Not pervy, not obvious, just a flicker of something. Curiosity, maybe. Or guilt. Or both. And I remembered the night before he left. How he hugged me too long. How his hand slid down my back just a second too far. Back then I told myself it meant nothing. That it was just the complicated way families tangle up when love and resentment get too close. But now, I wasn't a kid anymore. And he wasn't just my mom's ex. He was a man. One I could feel in my veins just by hearing his voice again. And for the first time in a long time, I didn't feel alone in that house. I felt electric. I didn't mean for it to happen. That's what I told myself again and again. But maybe that was a lie. After that first night, things changed quietly at first. Aaron was just around, sitting on the back porch with his coffee in the mornings, cooking breakfast like it was still his house, asking how work was like he cared. And I played along. I let him care. We talked more. Not just surface stuff either. We slipped into long conversations, the kind that pull you in without warning. He asked about my job, my love life, non-existent, and the things I wanted but never said out loud. And I listened when he talked too, about the years he'd been gone, about how messed up he felt walking away from Mom, about the nights he'd wondered if he should have come back sooner. The way he said it made my chest twist. Not because he missed her, but because it sounded like he was talking about me. One night a storm rolled in. The kind Texas is known for, thick black clouds, thunder that shakes your bones. Mom called to say her flight was canceled. I barely heard her. My eyes were on Aaron the whole time, the way he leaned in the kitchen doorway, watching me with that unreadable expression. After I hung up, he stepped closer. Not too close. Just enough. You used to be scared of storms, he said. Yeah, well, I got used to them. Still doesn't mean you like 'em. I shrugged, heart thudding. I don't hate them anymore. He nodded slowly. Funny, I still hate them. But this one doesn't feel so bad. That was all he said. He walked past me to the living room, where the lights flickered, and the wind howled against the windows. I followed without thinking. We sat together on the couch in silence. Just breathing. Just being. Then he reached for the blanket draped over the side and tossed it across both our legs like it was nothing. But it wasn't nothing. His leg brushed mine. My breath caught. I didn't move. I've been trying to be good, he said suddenly. I turned. What? He looked straight ahead. Trying to remember who I'm supposed to be. But you make that hard. I swallowed. My voice came out low. You don't have to pretend with me. His eyes met mine. And that was it. The kiss was slow. Careful. Like we were testing whether the world would crack open if our mouths touched. When it didn't, it deepened. My hand slid into his hair. His moved to my waist. We didn't speak. We didn't need to. Clothes came off like they were never meant to be there. My back hit the couch, then his chest, warm and solid, pressed into mine. We made love right there, raw, wordless, endless. When it was over, we didn't talk. We just laid there, tangled in a way that felt like we'd always belonged. The next morning I expected shame, regret, maybe fear. But none of that came. Instead, we laughed in the kitchen while frying eggs. He touched my back, like it was the most natural thing in the world. I kissed his shoulder without thinking. We didn't talk about what we were doing, and that made it feel even more real. Like something sacred we didn't want to ruin with labels. The house became our little world. With Mom gone, it felt like we were living in the cracks between reality. Like time bent just enough to let this impossible thing happen. We did it again that night. And again the night after that. On the floor of the laundry room. In the hallway. In the shower where I first saw him step out like some kind of dream. We didn't stop. I didn't want to stop. And neither did he. Sometimes, I caught him staring at me like I was the only thing keeping him upright. Sometimes I whispered things to him I'd never said to anyone. And when I told him I didn't want him to leave again, he said, "I'm not going anywhere, baby. Not unless you tell me to." But we both knew this couldn't last. There was still her. My mom. His wife. She wasn't supposed to be back for another week. But life never follows the script. One morning as I stood in the kitchen wearing nothing but his t-shirt, Aaron behind me with his hands on my hips, I heard the front door open. Keys. Footsteps. A voice. Brittany. My heart froze. Aaron's hands dropped. I turned in panic. He looked like someone had ripped the air out of him. Mom was home. Too early. Too soon. And suddenly everything we'd built in the shadows was about to be dragged into the light. The second I heard her voice, my body went cold. Brittany. Mom called again, her heels clicking across the hardwood floor like gunshots. Aaron stepped back from me fast, like the heat between us had suddenly burned him. I ran upstairs, heart in my throat, legs trembling. I didn't look back. I didn't speak. I just moved. I shut my bedroom door, stripped off his t-shirt, and threw on the first dress I could find. My face in the mirror looked unfamiliar. Flushed cheeks. Hair a mess. Lips still swollen from kisses I shouldn't have wanted. Downstairs I heard her greeting Aaron. "Oh," she said, surprised but not alarmed. "You're here early. I figured I'd settle in before you got back," he said. His voice was steady, calm, like nothing had happened, like we hadn't just made love 2 minutes ago in the kitchen. They talked. I didn't catch every word, just the low hum of her laugh, the way his voice dropped when he answered. They were playing house again, and I was the dirty secret hiding behind the walls. At dinner that night, I sat between them, pretending to be their daughter. We talked about weather, flights, work. I could barely eat. Every time my fingers brushed the edge of the table, I remembered his hands on my skin. Mom smiled at him more than I remembered. She touched his arm once, and I flinched so hard I dropped my fork. She gave me a strange look. "You okay, Britt?" she asked. "Just tired," I muttered. She studied me for a moment, too long, too closely. Then she turned back to Aaron. That night I didn't sleep. I lay in bed staring at the ceiling, my body aching for him, my brain screaming at me for ever letting it happen. I heard their footsteps down the hall, heard their bedroom door shut, heard silence. I wondered if she touched him, if he touched her, if he pretended she was me. The next few days were a slow kind of hell. The air in the house changed. I caught Mom watching me when she thought I wasn't looking. She asked strange questions. "Have you been doing laundry? Whose earrings are these on the bathroom sink? You've been wearing perfume again?" She wasn't stupid. One morning she pulled me aside in the hallway. Her face was calm but her eyes were sharp. "Brittany," she said, her voice quiet. "Are you going to tell me what's going on, or should I guess?" I blinked. "What are you talking about?" She stared at me for a long time. "I may not be home a lot, but I know this house. I know how things look when I leave, and I know how they look now." I swallowed. My throat was dry. My hand started to shake. She stepped closer. "It's him, isn't it?" I couldn't breathe. She nodded slowly, like she was solving a puzzle she already knew the answer to. "I saw the way he looked at you," she said, almost to herself. I just didn't want to believe it. I didn't say a word. There was nothing left to say. That night Aaron was gone. He left without a note, without a bag, without a goodbye. Just vanished. Mom didn't speak to me for a week. The silence between us was louder than any screaming match ever could have been. I thought maybe she'd throw me out. Maybe she'd throw herself into wine in spite. But she just floated, like she didn't want to touch anything that reminded her of what she'd lost. And me? I was empty. I waited for a call, a text, anything. But Aaron didn't reach out. He'd promised he wouldn't leave again. But he had. This time he didn't just leave her. He left me too. Sometimes I still sit on the back porch where we used to talk. I drink his brand of whiskey. I let the wind tangle my hair. I close my eyes and remember the way he touched me like I was something rare. And I wonder if he really loved me, or if I was just the reason he came back, to feel something before he disappeared again. I loved him. That part at least was real. Messy, wrong, beautiful. But love isn't always enough. Sometimes it ruins you. And sometimes it leaves you in a quiet Texas house, watching your mother walk past you without looking, both of you pretending there's nothing left to say. Because deep down we both know the truth. We invited the fire, and we got burned. Have you ever imagined yourself in this kind of situation? What did you do about it? Subscribe to this channel, and hit on notifications for more interesting stories like this.